New Sega console? Don't play with my emotions. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of my tiny point of view. And on this episode, well, you guessed it, we're talking about an apparent Sega, a new Sega console? Get out of here. Sega's been out of the market for years. I don't think they have any intentions on coming back, but apparently there's a Sega console called the Spartan. Well, it's only called the Spartan. There's a group of people who are Sega fans, can't blame them, who want to bring back Sega into the console market. Once again, I cannot blame them. For years, I have wanted Sega to come out of nowhere with this amazing, well-designed, well-performing home console and put Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo to shame. Now, all of a sudden, there's a console called the Spartan. Now, what it is, like I said, is a bunch of people who are fans of Sega. They got up a bunch of signatures that they're going to bring to Sega and try to convince them with these signatures, 35,000 to be exact, that they should come back into the console market. Now let me put this better. I know for a fact Sega is not going to come back into the console market because of these guys. Now I can't blame them for where their heart's at. Now, they did a rendering of the console. They don't have a working prototype. The rendering looks pretty good, but I mean, it looks like a custom PC tower. Looking at all the specs and looking at what it can do, I don't think it's going to be able to compete with the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, the Nintendo Switch. Let's take a look at the specs. Apparently, as they're saying, experience immersive gaming in 4K. I mean, they have a blast from the past. Oh man, that hooked me right there. Play your favorite games from Game Gear, Master System, Genesis, Saturn, Dreamcast, and next-gen titles. Now, we all know you can do that right now with something called a Raspberry Pi. And it does it pretty well with some issues here and there. But I think as time goes on, maybe the Raspberry Pi 4 will answer all these issues that they have. So I mean, let's go on. Supported media. The Spartan OS gives you access to an online store. Pretty standard for consoles nowadays. You can download games or play games from external media. Once again, pretty standard. You can do that with Xbox Live, you can do it with PlayStation, the PlayStation Store, and you can do it with the new Nintendo Switch. Also, connect community, connect with friends, share gameplay, videos, screenshots, stream directly to Twitch. Now, once again, something you can already do with all the major consoles on the market, including your Steam OS machines, Android TV, your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo Switch. But it is standard, so yes, if Sega was to come out with a console, I would expect it to include this. You're going to have 4 gig GeForce GTX GPU, 1 terabyte HDD storage, and you're going to have 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM. Now, a lot of people have computers, gaming PCs that are way more powerful than this. But, I mean, pretty good specs for an old console. I mean, overall, it does look good, but, I mean, they don't have a working prototype as of yet. I don't think you can go to Sega with signatures and expect Sega to say, oh, definitely 35,000 signatures. Yes, 35,000 sales. We are going to stop just producing games and we're going right back into the console market. Let's take a look at the controller. Alright, today we got news about the new Spartan controller. A brand new tech demo we're developing called, yes, they have a Sonic 4K video. It's just a rendering of how the 4K gaming works. And then they have the Spartan controller. Adds your standard A, B, Y, and X buttons that have been around for quite some time now. You have your traditional D-pad, your 2 analog sticks, and it also has your R2, R1, L1, R2 trigger buttons and bumper buttons. I'd like to point out the red clear thing in the middle. Is that an infrared? I mean, it kind of looks like a remote control from a remote control car. I mean, is that the light that turns on? I mean, they definitely got to do some work on that. That's not attractive at all. That is really horrible design in my opinion. I mean, this is not the Xbox X or the Sony PlayStation button that lights up. I mean, this is just some clear plastic red thing in the middle. It doesn't look good to me at all. I mean, I'm not saying the controller's bad, but it needs some work. I don't know how much I like the long extended arms, although the Nvidia Shield TV does have a similar design to this controller, but their controller looks way better. And apparently the controller fits comfortably in your hands. I don't know, don't have it in my hands. I think it might need a little work. It has a turbo button, rumble motors, 50 hours of battery life. I mean, unless they actually produced this controller, they really don't know how long the battery life lasts. 7 to 10 meter range, white and black version, more features will be added. I don't know. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I would love for Sega to come back into the console market. I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, let's be clear here. Sega has been out of the market for years now. Dreamcast was their last system as far as I know, and they have been out since then. Dreamcast and Sega Saturn are definitely two underrated consoles. I personally love them. It was all a downfall because of their software. The Dreamcast failed because of Sega's really poor copyright software. People were allowed to just burn games and it would work on the system, and that was ultimately its failure. But Sega's been out since then. They've been making games, and their games are for all platforms, across the board. What are they going to do if they decide that they're coming back in their console market? I know that they own the Sonic franchise, but what are they going to say? Hey, sorry guys, we're pulling Sonic. We're no longer going to be producing it for any of the other consoles. It's going back to being exclusive to Sega. Either way, I'm not saying that Sega will never come back into the console market because none of us know for sure. I'm pretty sure that the signs point towards no, though. They're definitely not going to be getting back in the console market because someone came up with a rendering concept and 35,000 signatures. They're going to have to come up with something a little better than that. And by no means should these guys listen to me or anybody else's criticism, because if people listened to other criticism, we wouldn't have technology at all now, would we? Thank you guys for watching another episode of My Tiny Point of View. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think these guys have something? Do you think Sega will consider making another Sega console just because of these 35,000 signatures and a render and a controller idea? Do you think these guys are nuts? Do you think they should just stop wasting their time? Maybe they should just go into business for creating gaming PC cases, because honestly, the Spartan case does look pretty cool. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button if you're interested to see more from the Deem channel. And if you found this information to be useful, please consider sharing it amongst your friends.